Well, speaking of computers, old computers, Apple did finally officially wait until right after we recorded the podcast last week to kill the Mac Pro.
It was like the day after.
I've never been more sure that they waited till Thursday afternoon to do this.
Who else would
I've
care
never,
this much?
Yeah.
No one.
Yeah.
Early Thursday afternoon.
Yeah, afternoon. The afternoon part is how I know,
was
because then
just
we
the
couldn't
twist
even
of the
do a
knife.
breaking.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they kept it on the site for a while. It was always available, but it hasn't gotten updates since the M2 generation, M2 Ultra Mac Pro. I've had it on my desk. I talked about it in the desk tour that I did, which is like this product is effectively end of life, but not officially dead yet. Last week, they officially removed it from the Apple Store, removed it from their website, and now they've confirmed, I think from a statement somewhere, I don't remember.
9 to 5 Mac,
9 to 5
reached out.
Yeah, they said they're not going to, update it anymore. So
Yeah, it felt like they only made that product because people had been begging for it for so long, and it just was very useless.
no, Andrew's giving me this look like the Mac
Do you
Pro.
remember us cheering? Like,
Yeah.
everyone
So
looked at
stoked.
you in the audience.
I remember that. I remember being it was probably Dub, and they said new Mac Pro, and I felt everyone turn around and go, yeah. Yeah, the Mac Pro, the idea of the Mac Pro is it's basically just a bigger enclosure with more cooling and PCI expansion.
Yeah.
And all Apple missed on was really facilitating this ecosystem of PCI expansion accessories. There's a couple. I had an OWC SSD. I have that still on my Mac Pro.
Yeah.
There's some networking cards. There's still some GPUs that are potentially useful for very specific applications like decoding video. But it really never materialized as like a really vibrant ecosystem because Thunderbolt's good. And you can just plug in basically anything you need via Thunderbolt in a Mac Studio and get effectively the same thing. PCI is still faster, but Thunderbolt's really, really fast now. So the market for people who can't get it done with Thunderbolt, but can with the Mac Pro was about 3 people. I'm not even one of those people. I could just be using Thunderbolt. But yeah, the Mac Pro, I'm sure nobody bought that thing for a couple of years, and it finally was officially deceased.
And it was funny because they made the version that had the feet, and then they made the version that was supposed to go in like server centers.
The rack,
The rack version. And it was like, did anybody buy that for server centers? I just don't think.
I know one person who had a rack-mounted Mac Pro.
Did they just buy it for personal use though, and they just happened to buy the rack-mounted version?
They did buy it for personal use. They bought it as a touring computer for lighting and video stuff for like pro, arena shows.
Okay.
And it was just way more convenient to have it rack-mounted because then you could put it directly in a flight case and get to a venue.
Do you know what's more convenient? A Mac Studio now.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, do you know if this person used PCI cards?
Yeah.
They did.
Because when you're doing like really complex video output stuff, you need like what's called like a deck link from Blackmagic is like an example of like a really intense video IO that you guys know. I don't need to explain.
We know what you're talking about.
It was a confusing product the second it switched to Apple Silicon, because then now it was like all this unified memory, no more expandable RAM, and GPU support was effectively nothing. But they still have PCI slots, so you could still do some very specialized stuff, and it was like,
I mean, don't you have like 18 terabytes of SSD storage?
I have a 64 terabyte PCIe SSD, and I speed test it to this day. Like I have a equivalent Thunderbolt 5 version of the same thing, and it gets 3 times the speed from the PCI SSD. But 3 times an also very fast speed is still like, it was 9,000 versus 3,500. So it was like, I should have been using a Mac Studio all these years ago, but I was stubborn. I didn't buy a new one. I think when they
make the Ultra.
Hopefully soon make the M5 Ultra, seems like what they're going to do.
I've heard. Yeah, it's coming soon.
That I think is what I will finally upgrade to.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
To-
I'll just have a Thunderbolt drive.
Just Thunderbolt.
Yeah.
You almost, why can't I think of the word? Manifested this, because like within the month before, you just kept going like, I don't think I need this anymore. I think I could just use the studio with this and the new studio monitors and blah, blah, blah. And then Apple was like, finally, he said it. Get rid of it.
I
Outta here.
did the Studio Display review. I said Studio is the new Pro, because that couldn't have been any more clear. They literally came out with the new Studio Display XDR and discontinued the Pro display in the same announcement. And it was like, oh, no more Pro because Studio is good enough, and here's the new thing. And then the Mac Pro sitting over there kind of shaking like, yeah, that's true. So we know Mac Studio is already more than enough for all of the pros who are using Macs for all these things. There's a couple who are still using Pro Displays. There's a couple who are still using Mac Pros. They'll still use those things, but it's like Studio is where it's at.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Kudos to the 9 to 5 Mac people who made their banner image a Mac Pro upside down with its little feet up and just looks like a piece of roadkill. Which is so funny.
Rip.
I also have a quick question for all of you.
Sure.
For funsies, I put Marquez's maxed out M2 Ultra Mac Pro in the trade-in program for Apple.
Oh,
what
boy.
do you think you would get back?
How much did you buy it for?
It was over 10 racks.
Are we doing closest without going?
Which
over?
is
I'll just
not
do
bad
Delta.
considering the
It started
Intel
at
ones.
7,000. Yeah, the Intel ones were
We're like
absurd.
50.
50,000?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was maxed out. It had 8 terabytes of storage and it had 192 gigs of
RAM.
unified memory. I think I spent 13 on it or something. I don't think Apple's going to give me very much. I think they would give me less than 5, probably 3,000.
Probably less.
I guess.
Because remember wasn't the $50,000 one I tried the trade in and it was like $1,000?
I thought those were 500 to I'll recycle it for you.
I think it was $1,000.
Was that because Apple Silicon had come out and so the Intel ones were like
Useless.
just melted down for metal?
Yeah, basically.
Yes.
For scraps.
I
Yeah.
think they're gonna give you
A G.
$280.
That would be
That'd
insulting.
be insane. That's less than an iPhone.
That's how
guess-
much it takes to ship it.
I think they will recycle it for you.
I'm going to say a G.
I think Marquez is the closest. It is 2,665. That's not that bad. I almost wonder if the trade-in program got the memo that these got discontinued yet. But
Yeah.
I think that price will go down very fast now.
How much is an M2 Ultra Max Studio?
But that means in 3 years, right? 2023 is when you bought this.
Something like something like that.
It's a fifth of the value.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can get
That
a
honestly isn't
fully
that, it's
loaded
not that crazy.
M4 Max Studio for that price.
It's still a crazy computer.
Yes.
It's a really
How dare
good
you.
computer.
It sucks.
How much do they cost on eBay?
The thing is just how good Apple Silicon keeps getting. Remember I benchmarked them M5 Max MacBook Pro 16-inch, and it's the fastest single-threaded Mac CPU core ever. And it's like most of the stuff you do, that's the thing, like most of the stuff I do on a Mac most of the time is not editing. It's like all the regular stuff. It's writing. It's the, whether it's thumbnails or like all the everyday web browsing stuff, emails that I do. And then 5% of the time, it's really, really heavy video editing. So all the sacrifices that I made in daily usability to go into video editing, it's like those probably should just be 2 different computers.
Yeah.
And so now, it's just the new stuff is good at both.
These vary a lot. For your spec, they've sold on eBay for as little as $2,500 and as high as $7,800. So,
It's funny to complain about how little Apple would give me for it, but how much would I pay for that computer now? You wouldn't. I would never buy it now.
Why? Yeah.
Because you could get a way better computer.
I guess the RAM is in the
Because I don't need the PCI expansion.
Mac Studio. Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. That's crazy.
See ya.
See you later.
I'm sure there's
Smell you
someone
later.
somewhere that has like a couple of these doing some very niche business stuff that would just go buy this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was secretly hoping for like a really sick video card that would like decode red
Afterburner
code. Like an
too.
afterburner card, yeah. And that just never happened.
Yeah.
Also, like as much as I love these big 16-inch MacBook Pros, they're not like thermally perfect.
No.
You know what I mean? Like you do benefit from having the big what do you
big
call
chamber.
it? Case. Yeah.
Mac Studio.
Or I was gonna say the Mac Pro. Like even though you're not gonna get a chipset that's like, you probably would still get better speeds on a thermally throttled 16-inch M5 Max, but I don't know. There's something nice about knowing you're cool.
I would say the best case scenario for Apple Silicon today was if they put the highest end chip in the Mac Pro and just let us cool the crap out of it and do whatever we want.
Yeah.
But that's another story. RIP Mac Pro. Hey, thanks for watching this clip. If this clip gets 10,000 likes, I will order a Cyborg Rat 7 mouse for the next episode of the podcast. I might do it anyway, but if this clip gets 10,000 likes, I will definitely do it. Just saying.
Rat 7. Rat 7.
Okay.